because otherwise I'm picking, because I have host privilege. But speaking of ZELLOOO, it looks like we are ready to get that run kicked off. So, ZELLLOOO, Necrodancer, we doing it?
I think we're doing it. Hi, everyone. I'm ZELLLOOO, or Zello, however you want to say it. Never matters to me. We're going to be continuing our music game block with a kind of music game. I'm kind of known for this, but we're going to do something more roguelike. So this is Crypt of the Necrodancer. This is an incredible roguelike by Brace Yourself Games, released back in, I think 2015 was the original game's release date. We're going to be playing the new Synchrony DLC that was released. It was early access last year and had a full release this year. And this combined with the Amplified DLC adds a lot of really cool features and just little touches that we'll probably try and get to during the run. Before we get any farther on this, we need to know what the soundtracks are going to be as we play story mode. We're going to have the top four. So, Mina, what are our top four soundtracks here?
All right, let me go ahead and close that and refresh the page to check one more time. And it looks like it was what we discussed earlier. So we have the Danganronpa with 54, so that's going to be number 2. Chipsel was number 1 with the snipe at the last minute. A Rival was number 3 with $10. And everything else came in a 4th place tie. And again, I already threatened it once. I'm exercising host privilege, and I'm going to say we're going to go Family Jewels for the last one.
That's going to be an interesting last one. So yeah, we have all our soundtracks for our characters. So I'll quickly explain the category here. We're going to go down to extra modes. So we're going to tap story mode. So story mode, we're going to play the 4 story characters with the DLC included. So we're going to start with Nocturna, who's the DLC prequel character. She kicks off the story. And then we're going to go into Cadence, Melody, and Aria. So this is a roguelike. The levels are going to be pre-generated using seeds. Things are going to be randomized to an extent. If I die with a character, it is a run over, and because this is a marathon, I will continue doing individual characters as needed. Also, we have a giant GDQ raid. I am extremely excited. Welcome, Raiders, and welcome everyone. Unfortunately, my commentator couldn't be here. He had a last-minute emergency, so Mina is gonna hopefully take up the helm just a little bit with me as we get started. But we're going started with this run in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Crypt of the Necrodancer is a turn-based roguelike where the gimmick is that the turns are to the beat of the music right here. So this means I have to do a lot of really quick thinking and management because I can't take forever to plan my turns out. So we're going to be looking for a lot of useful equipment early on. We've got this lock shop right here. I'm going to check this. We actually got a bit of chainmail immediately. That's some good armor. Armor being very handy. Mina, can you talk a little bit about the characteristics for Nocturna and just what the general run is going to look like for all 4 characters?
If I understood the characters well enough, I sure could. I know Nocturna can turn into a bat every now and then, and that's movement. But like, I am a very casual Necrodancer player. I do not understand the characters very well at all. Y'all can go back and watch the pre-show where we did 4-player multiplayer, and I embarrassed myself for almost 2 hours. It was a lot of fun, though, and that's the important thing. But yeah, we got fairly straightforward gameplay right now because we are not a bat. We're just going to beat up everything with our weapon, and occasionally we'll turn into a bat. That's about all I understand about Nocturna.
Yeah, so the bat form has some really neat characteristics we'll get into in a bit. But first, we have our first boss fight against Deep Blues right here. Each zone is divided into 3 floors plus a boss fight. And the boss fights, you pick from a pool of 5. We're going to see 4 of them per story run. We want to try and get a flawless victory by killing the boss without taking any damage or dropping any beats. So we get that. That gets us these 3 chests at the very top. We want to get black because we need a weapon badly. And that is like one of the best weapons in the game right there with the Obsidian Rapier.
Yeah, all the Obsidian weapons are going to be damage based on multiplier. ZELLLOO is, I assume, going to try to stay at max multiplier the entire time, so we're going to be hitting rather hard when you combine it with the bonus damage from the charging.
Yeah, with maxed out multiplier, the rapier has the normal attack, which does 3 damage. And then when you're attacking from 2 tiles away, it actually does a lunge, which does double damage, and that's extremely handy. So this is one of the best weapons in the entire game because you have what we call move attack, where we can move and attack in the same turn. Because normally, if you try and attack something, that you can only move or attack normally, but unless you have a weapon that allows you to do both, like the rapier or say an axe. So definitely very strong, especially with the lunge. You just get a lot of damage, and we're kind of hitting what we have a 3 damage threshold, where we want to be at 3 damage where possible, because that allows us to deal with a lot of enemies in either 2 hits or open crates, which take a minimum of 3 damage. There's just a lot of weird characteristics, and that we're just not going to get to throughout the whole run because there's a lot to cover. But we'll cover everything as we go.
Yeah, typical roguelike fashion. The combination of things that can happen, the items, the enemies, everything. It makes this game very deep as far as like required knowledge to be able to speedrun it efficiently. So ZELLLOO is going to be doing his best with the cards that he has dealt, as it were.
Yep, got another flawless victory off of Coral Rift. We're going to check purple, try and get a magic item of some kind. Ring of Gold is not what we're looking for. Like, getting extra gold for a marathon run isn't bad. Just we can find some more things to buy with shops, but it's definitely one of the weakest rings in the game. Like, a lot of the other rings can give damage or other effects that are really useful. So Zone 3 is very scary because we have this fire and ice theme. You will slip on ice, and you have to be very careful not to throw yourself into an enemy. And here's a good ring right here. This is the Ring of Peace. This is one of the best rings in the entire game. So Ring of Peace does 3 things. It gives me an extra empty heart container. It downgrades all mini-bosses to their weakest form. And it also reduces the amount of enemies per floor. So this is one of the strongest rings in the entire game. Very, very useful and very good. Gonna pop into the shop, get a little bit of extra protection with the Hargreaves plus the titanium shovel. The stronger shovels let us dig through different kinds of blocks that we normally wouldn't be able to, like these fire and ice blocks. So just have to be very mindful of the equipment that we're using here.
Yeah,
gotta be careful of all.
Coals too.
Yeah, the coals are pretty
can't
annoying.
stop moving on those. Not that that's usually an issue with most characters, because you would never want to stop moving. But
I'm gonna
if
swap
you
out
stay
the shield tones.
still on them, you will take damage.
Yeah, you can move across them okay, you just can't stay on them. So the exit looks like it's about up. Each zone has its own rules for how the levels are generated, so we can kind of use that to make our way to the exit if we know how to get everywhere. So I'm gonna let this
also
over here.
a little bit of Zone 5 peeking through here too. That is one of Nocturna's other what word do you want to use?
Characteristics, I guess.
Characteristics, rules, however you want to think about it. Yeah, parts of Zone 5 will peek through on her runs, which is interesting.
Yep, checking purple again. Got the heal spell. This is one of the best spells as well. We can talk about blood magic real quick. So you can cast a spell, and then normally you can see right there you need a certain amount of cools or attacks before you can cast the spell again. But there is a mechanic called blood magic where you can cast the spell immediately, but at the cost of your health. The thing is, when you touch the ending stairs for a level, you are completely invincible, and that includes the blood magic cost. So I can actually get a free half a heart heal per level by doing it on the stairs, which is extremely handy. There's also just some other really good uses for blood magic in general. Heal spell, because whenever you heal from a source of damage, or you heal from a healing source, you are invincible for 1 extra turn afterwards, and you can use that to kind of get pseudo-invincibility in ways and handle some tough situations. That's a bad teleport to have. So that's what the purple monkeys can do. They can teleport you out and put you in a bad spot. It at least didn't put me in the exit room surrounded by a bunch of enemies, so it's okay.
Yeah, that might have been a run killer if that happened.
Yeah, thankfully Nocturna does have the bat form to fall back on, so if we were to run out of health with Nocturna, as long as we have 1 empty normal heart container, then we'll revive with half a heart and be in bat form. But if we get hit in bat form to 0 health, then it's over.
Yeah, situation like the final room there, getting teleported in unexpectedly. Like, this is a game where you can die very quickly if you're not paying attention and something goes off the rails.
Alright, we're going to do funny strats for Conga right here. So normally you have to destroy the whole Conga line. or bomb the throne, we're going to do a little bit of a sneaky thing. We're going to do this. And I bomb the throne, and I technically damage Conga at the same time because of the way bombs do their damage processing. So internally, the game was like, oh, you destroyed the throne. And then the game was like, oh, the next part of the explosion hit Conga and damaged him. So we actually did damage to Conga when we're not really supposed to, and that shortens the fight just a little bit. Like I said, this game has very funny shenanigans, and you learn things all the time in this game. I have like well over 2,000 hours, and have played this game on and off since about 2016, and I still learned new things today.
We are seeing Zone 5 finally, and the gimmick of this zone is that electrified wire, because this was part of the Amplified DLC. If you are on that wire, when you attack enemies, you get a nice little chain lightning spell. It's almost as busted as chain lightning used to be for Shaman in World of Warcraft, so you can kind of relive your glory days.
Yeah, you can get some huge arcs with this. Like, it's not uncommon to go into rooms and make arcs of about 15, 20 enemies. Alright, so we got the first of 2 story bosses right here. We've got Frankenstein Way. He has a lot of health. He has 10 HP for each of his 4 phases. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of these shields. So we're going to bomb them out of the way so that they are no longer in the way. And then we're just going to slowly whittle them down. And it gets more and more complicated with each phase because more and more obstacles get added. And the last is extra scary because he's going to start charging at us. Now, if we need to, we can probably block an attack, but it looks like we're in a good pattern right here, so we'll just tank him out. So that's the first of 2 story bosses. Nocturna's second story boss is the Conductor. If you want to see the great cutscenes, you should absolutely play this game and see the great cutscenes. They're cheesy in the best way possible, but what we need to do is that wire mechanic that we saw during Zone 5, we need to utilize that and walk up these wires to destroy these instruments with the electricity. So that's going to be phase 1 of this fight, and this is a pretty dicey situation here. Thankfully, the Rapier doing a lot of the work. So we're just going to make this as safe as possible, go up the rest of these wires. And then for phase 2, we need to drain these batteries by standing on these conduits, and then hit enemies so that the batteries drain. So it's a little tricky because there's a lot of hazards. If possible, we'd like to use the bombs to do some damage, because the bombs that the Conductor throws can destroy parts of the batteries, and the water balls actually will short circuit them as well. Unfortunately, a change in Synchrony compared to normal Amplified DLC, your bombs no longer do damage to the batteries. Just kind of a relief, because it was a pain in the butt before. Come on, get on there. I need just one more hit. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so we got through Nocturna. So that's 1 character down, 3 to go.
There you go.
So that brings us to Cadence, who's our base character.
Yep, nothing special about Cadence. She's just the default stock character that you begin a brand new save with before you start unlocking all the fun extra characters.
Well, getting a free ring apiece immediately is a good start.
Yeah, it's a great start. And since there's not really anything that interesting to say about Cadence, this is a great time to look at donations real quick and remind everyone what we're doing here. Because we did get that big raid, and we haven't had a chance to talk about what we're doing. So, yeah, hi everyone that came in from the big GDQ raid. This is Winterside Pride 2024, and we are out here. We're raising money for Point of Pride. They're a trans-led 501c3 nonprofit organization. They have served tens of thousands of people in all 50 states and 100 plus other countries by providing access to gender-affirming health and wellness services. They do a lot of great work. If you go to their website, we have a link at !Charity. You can learn more about them. And !Donate, of course, will take you to the donations that we're gathering for this great organization. And we did get $25 from Lilac. I love this game. And that went towards one of our current target incentives. We do have a Pac-Land Pro Mode showcase that will be happening after the Pac-Land race tomorrow morning. Not going to do all of Pro, but just enough to show everyone how goofy and broken it is. And just really unfair. It's not a very fair game, allegedly. So if you're a fan of Type 2 fun like I am, that's one you're going to want to see.
Got a staff to play with for now. So since it's a new run, we got to find different weapons and such. And staff's pretty fun to use. Shooting out a beam after it does the initial attack. Alright, we didn't see death metal last time, so now we get to see death metal. So we're going to get rid of the coast to make it a little bit safe, because I really need a flawless victory. I want to be above 1 damage getting to the next zone. So let's get him in the corner. That's good. Alright, we should be good here. So let's check our flawless chest right here. We're going to check black. Hopefully get something with decent damage. Ah, cat. Titanium cat. So titanium property... Yeah, Titanium Cat is really fun to play with. Oh, never mind. There's a Obsidian Axe in here. The cat is really good, but we're going to swap for the Axe, which is by far the most broken weapon type in the entire game. So this has the lunge, like the Rapier does, but instead of doing a double damage lunge, it does a 3-tile attack ahead instead. And when you're hitting stuff 3 tiles away with an AoE effect, that is beyond broken, to the point where we actually banned axes from our racing leagues because it's so overpowered. And we've also hit our critical 3 damage threshold because we're using Obsidian Axe. So because we have the Peace Ring, things are going to die in 1 or 2 hits. It's going to be real quick. And I've got a little bit of armor as well, thanks to the leather armor. So we're in pretty good shape overall.
Also picked up an obsidian torch as well, so when our max multiplier is going on, we can see almost to the edge of the screen, which is very good for scouting and finding the exits a little bit faster.
Yeah, the nice thing about torches is that they don't just light up what you can see, they can also light up behind walls as well, so you don't get spooked by enemies behind them. I dropped multiplier by accident. I think I'm just gonna do this fight normally. And I keep dropping multiplier because I'm not used to this soundtrack. It's been a long time since I've actually used Danganronpa, so it's like, where's the beats again? Okay, so we'll pick that transmog up in a little bit. Let's check this purple chest first. See if there's a spell. Nope. The gold ring makes its return. Alright, so transmog, we can move our item slots into different types of items, so we're going to get a plate armor out of that one. Battle shovel is nice. I'm going to try for a different torch. Maybe I can get torch of strength. Torch of walls, that's also very good. So that gives me, you can see by map in the bottom right, you have the outlines of everything. And that means that I can know exactly where the exit is, and I can just leave.
Yeah, because like we mentioned earlier, every zone has its own unique properties for how it generates levels. So if you know where each zone is going to put the exit stairs, if you know the shape of the level, you can just go basically straight to it like we just did right there. We were on this stage for less than 15 seconds.
Yeah, so zones 2 and 3, they generate in a weird way. You can see the available paths, and the exit usually generates away from those. But it's tricky in zone 3 because usually those paths are in weirder spots than they are in zone 2. As we'll clean up Deep Blues real quick with the axe, really showing the power of just the AoE striking. We're going to check purple again, try and get a spell. Heal would be great again. Freeze tomes are useful. Tomes were added in the first DLC for Amplified. They basically let you cast a lower level spell a few times. Freeze being really, really powerful. Definitely one of the best spells in the game. We also picked up this battle shovel. It lets me dig tier 2 walls. But it also has another property where if I dig any wall, then the next attack I do on the next beat basically has infinite damage. So we can use that for some really pesky shenanigans.
And we do love shenanigans in our roguelikes.
I'm gonna get rid of this armadillo. Yeah, orange armadillos are among the most scary enemies in the game just because of the huge range when they're moving towards you, and they can move diagonally. So try and make it a priority. You want to talk a little bit about the goo, the ooze, since we haven't really talked about that?
Oh yeah, of course. Like I actually was going to mention that I find the ooze golem to be one of my favorite enemies. But the first time you attack the ooze golem, it's going to drop that green ooze you see on the ground. and it'll also spawn in some parts of Zone 4 as well. We step on that, it shrinks us. It makes us weak. We cannot attack when we're on it because we are too small to do any damage. The ooze column, you'll kind of have to hit it and then retreat to get off of it before you can damage it again. The regular floors, try to avoid them. Oh yeah, that's... You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna use the freeze jump here. I really do not want to die in the middle of a marathon run for story because we're pretty far into this, so let's use our safety. It's better to use the items than never. That's one habit we try and drill into new runners of this game. Is use your items because you're not sure when you'll get another chance to. That was a pretty rough Fortissimo, so no flawless there. So we're pretty low on health. I can make this work, but I have to be very careful going through Zone 5 here. The axe does make it a lot safer. So the real concern is not getting stuck on, say, a water puddle from a water ball. I'm going to pick up that fireball scroll just in case I need a safety. Spiked ears give me some extra damage as long as I keep my beat. I don't really need them. So I'm going to focus more on dropping them. If I need to drop a beat so I don't get to take a hit, then that's going to be preferable than trying to keep the ears the whole way through.
Yeah, that lunge combined with the splash damage from being on the wires can be quite devastating.
Alright, I'm gonna go out of my way and check this last shop down here, just see if there's any food, because next will be our story bosses, and I don't have any kind of real safety here. I have heavy glass right here. I have just enough. This is perfectly fine. So heavy glass will soak 3 hits for me. And that's better than just the straight damage reduction, since I'm not getting anything out of it with how low my health is. Okay, so Dead Ringer's a little scary, so there's 2 phases. We need to honk the bells, and then we need to charge Dead Ringer into the gong that'll appear at the top. So we've got a bad pattern here. We're going to use this strat we call Japanese. It's kind of going bad, so we're going to make this a little bit safer. Here, we're going to do it this way. We're going to use that fireball scroll. There we go. So charge him right into the gong and we're good. And that brings us to the Necrodancer fight. So we need to get Necrodancer's loot away from him. And we have enough bombs to do this without doing the fight normally. Because normally you'd have to jump around, do a bunch of puzzles with these buttons. Or you can just jump straight into the loot by blowing up the stage. And I have my heavy glass, so I'll take 3 hits without dying. So this should be good. So the loot only does an attack whenever you move. So we're going to move in very specific ways so that we can get these hits on Necrodancer. Because he normally tries to move away from you. But we can move in very specific ways. That was an excellent fight.
Yeah, that was clean.
So that brings us to Melody, which is Cadence's mom. And story reasons, she is forced to use the loot forever or die. So we're going to go investigate the crypt some more. So because she's locked to the loot, we have a very weird situation with our black chest because we're not going to get any other weapons. So black chests will have greater chances for armor and other items. So that's going to be our goal for the first boss chest. We want to get a good armor out of our first boss. Melody's also very squishy with only 2 hearts instead of 3. So it's a little scary to start this run.
Yeah, wall spell a decent pickup though.
Oh yeah, there's an extra heart container. That helps. We can fill that up later.
Yeah, wall spell is definitely useful as a panic button.
Yeah, Earth is one of the most versatile spells. You can use it for either offense or defense. I'm going to pick up that heal spell. And speaking of using Earth, we're going to do that. So the Earth spell, it makes those walls around you, which is great. You can use that to push enemies away. But if there's nowhere an enemy can be pushed by, then you instantly kill the enemy by crushing it, which is extremely useful. Especially on Melody where you don't get other weapons. So we're going to be riding this for until the end of the run, probably. That is the wrong spell. I just tried to... Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that put me in a bad spot, and I unfortunately died, and like I said, this is a roguelike, so we're just going to have to play out the rest of the characters by themselves. So, unfortunate, but we'll keep going. That isn't... Hold on. I forgot to turn story mode off with the individual characters. So
Yeah, I should probably do that.
I put myself in a bad situation. Didn't use my Earth spell like I should have. So it happens. So we get a new layout. So and that's the power of roguelikes. You get fun situations. You get new things to happen.
Yeah, worst thing that happens is you die and you've lost usually less than a half hour of progress in most of the big roguelikes right now, and you just dust yourself off and try again.
Yep. That's okay. We didn't lose too much time. Like, that was a pretty early death for Melody, so we'll keep trucking along.
I mean, it's more Necrodancer.
It is more Necrodancer. It is more A-Rival.
Okay, now I'm starting to think that you just decided to do that on purpose to get a rival.
To be fair, A-Rival is one of my favorites.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's one of my favorites, though? We just opened up another bid war. This one is for Virtual High Glide, which is going to be our final run of the night. And we'll talk more about that in between runs. But there is a bid war for the seeds, because we are using a random seed. Unfortunately, because of how Tiltify works, we could not let people put in their own custom seeds. So we just memed a little bit in the staff channel and have a bunch of references to the event and whatnot. So for our random seeds, you can choose between Mushy Pride, 1 frame PS per second, because if you know, it's Virtual High Glide. Cozy Winter, because of the event. Thanks Pop, period, for Point of Pride, the group that we're raising money with. And then it was supposed to be Transleps, but someone typoed it and we left it because it was funny. So we got that as well. So if you have any strong opinions about any of those random seeds for some reason, you can donate towards one of those as part of the bid war, and also put your money towards one of the target incentives that are also open right now. So exclamation point incentives, exclamation point donate. Check out what we got going on, and if you have the means to do so, please. It's a great cause. Donate a little bit and vote with your wallet for what you want to see later on tonight.
All right. Well, you have no idea how hard I'm rolling my eyes right now of how hilarious this seed is. So we just got some very, very useful items immediately next to the Conjure. So the Ring of Shadows, it lets you steal from shops or such and get things for free. Well, the Conjure just lets you conjure as much as you want as long as you have money. But with the Shadows, that's removed. So I just conjured basically the build I want. And so now I have I have foot protection thanks to the winged boots. I have a blast helm. Like, I have a whole bunch of stuff. Where is this? Oh, the mini boss is already dead. So the blast helm is really good. It gives me 3 bombs, but I also have immunity to explosions, and I can detonate bombs on a whim. So that means I have tons of protection, and whenever I detonate the bombs, I also still have a beat of invincibility. So that's just a huge panic button if I need it. I have the safety. So this is going to make the rest of the run a lot less scary, especially if I can do something with this regen ring that I picked up. Because regen's really good, but when you're only at max 2 hearts for the entire run, it's a lot less good because you can still die to something very powerful. So we're going to try and look for an extra set of heart containers or such. Anything to make this more useful. Throwing Charm's really fun to play with. And I still need to get my Lucky Charm. Let's see if I can get that to happen. Okay, there we go. So the Luck Charm spawned from the Leprechaun. It's pretty funny. It the biggest effect that it has is that bats normally move randomly. But if I have any kind of luck-based item, then bats will not attack me unless it is the only move they can make. And that is the biggest reason why I like getting Luck Charm. There's some other characteristics too, like improving the value of items that can get dropped. But that's the main reason. So we're up to death metal here. I'm just gonna have a fun time right here. We're just gonna freeze him with this the Snow Bro, and you're gonna hear the bats for forever. So the familiars were added and amplified, and the Snowman familiar is the strongest by far, being able to freeze enemies, and you can stack the freezes over and over like I did. So I just locked Death Metal down, and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, like I said earlier, there's so many like weird little interactions and roguelikes that you're only gonna find by putting a lot of time into the game, and that's
Exactly.
a great example of them.
We also got our throwing charm right here, so this allows me to throw weapons I normally wouldn't be able to. So we're gonna use that to kind of get rid of several of these enemies. I'm gonna shield because I'm in a bad spot. Yeah, if you are in a panic situation, you hit whatever panic button you have, and thankfully we had shield on deck. So with the throwing charm, not only can I throw the loot, it also does a boomerang effect. So we can have some really fun stuff with it. So definitely one of the coolest items added in the Synchrony DLC. Just a lot of fun to play with. It's only a glass shop right here. I was hoping for the transmog.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, speaking of the DLC, like, in general, like, if you have not played Necrodancer, like, it is worth every penny if you're into roguelikes. Like, both of the DLCs add so much extra content to it, and it's really worth, like, wishlisting and waiting for it on sale if you're unable to pay full price for it. But it is a phenomenal game with a very vibrant and lively community.
Yeah, even the base game is...
play.
Yeah, because like the base game itself is still pretty cheap at this point. You don't even need DLC to enjoy this. It's just a really solid game how it is normally. I'm going to use that now so I don't die.
Yeah, I can actually look up real quick on their monitor.
Yeah, this is a pretty ugly exit room with these mommies. Mommies spawn mummies from below, and then depending on the angle you approach an exit room at, it can be pretty painful.
So right now, base game is on sale on Steam for $3 whole.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is a fantastic deal.
I'm gonna take this over take that over the shield actually. So I actually need to throw the loot for a second so I can toggle the boots off. The boots are normally really good because they protect you from all floor things, but that also includes the wire. And we want to use the wire, so we need to toggle the boots off so that we can get our electricity here. And I am lost where this exit is. Apparently it's up. So Zone 5, the exit is always in the biggest room. It is an 8x8 room. So we kind of use the map as needed to kind of see where it is, but this was a really unfortunate position. It's like all the way in the corner. Ah, that's a start. That's also Zone 5 in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, you just spawn in surrounded.
Yeah, the spawn's just instantly starting. Uh-oh.
Oh, Earth Dragon.
I had my blast on and I did not use it. I panicked too hard. That's really unfortunate. So that actually is a pretty big time loss because we were right at the end of the run. If we have another death, I'm just going to move straight to Arya. So, unfortunate.
Well, that's okay, because we get a little bit more A-rifle now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it does give us a chance to touch base about what we're doing here again.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Alright, so, if you're just tuning in, if you're not sure what's going on, this is Fireside Pride 2024 here on twitch.tv/powerupwithpride. We are partnered for this event, for our winter event, with Point of Pride. They're a trans-led 501c3 nonprofit organization. They do a lot of great stuff. Serve tens of thousands of people in all 50 states and 100 plus other countries, providing access to gender-affirming health and wellness services. They have a long list of different things they offer with their various support programs, and all the money that we're raising will go to supporting those programs. They have a couple of different scholarship-like programs that folks who cannot afford their various care needs can apply for. There's one for transgender surgeries, there's one for HRT, one for electrolysis, which is very important for a lot of trans femme folks. They offer free chest binders and femme shapewear for folks who would like those. And then they have a general fund called the Thrive Fund that goes to have to cover all the other stuff that comes with transing your gender that doesn't really fit into a big category on its own like the other things do. If you check exclamation point charity, you can go to their website, learn all about what they're doing, and if you're interested, you can also learn about how you can get more involved with them there as well. And of course, exclamation point donate to that cause. Exclamation point incentives will give you a list of all of the various incentives that we have running right now as well. Again, we have the Pac-Land goal open right now for a run tomorrow morning. Have the bid war open for the virtual highlight seed. And Mechalink has not vetted any of these seeds. Like, I told him what they were, like, just so like he wasn't caught off guard by any of the goofs that we put in there, but why would you vet a virtual highlight seed? Why would you want to play that seed, like, at all? So we're going in completely blind.
All right, well, we're making our way back, and the boss order is also different between seeds as well. Like, we didn't have this order in any of the other runs, so it's something to adapt to because every version of the boss has different characteristics. Like the pawns and different pieces here have different amounts of health and such. So it can be a little tricky for Melody because she only has the 1 damage loot. We did thankfully pick up a monocle, which helps me find items easier. We can just see everything. And there is a fireball spell right here, which thankfully that'll help me get out of a jam if I get in another one like I did last run. So very, very easy to use spell, but honestly one of the best for how easy it is to use, but how powerful it really is, because it reaches to the end of the screen.
Yeah, Blood Shovel in the shop too, which can be handy in some situations. Not really something you need right this second, but for other strategies, that's a pretty useful shovel.
Yeah, pretty risky for Melody just because of the low health pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I just broke my slippers.
If that is the downside with the glass items, if you take damage, they just
this.
instantly get destroyed.
Yeah, slippers were pretty nice because they gave me some immunity to some floor hazards. Oh, I see something I definitely want because I see magic chicken. So magic food is really good because if you overeat magic food, the excess heart containers are added to your max. And reflect shield right there to get that dragon off my tail. I'm just gonna fireball this fight out using the blood magic. Really, really handy there. I can even just get let's get towards the walls. It's interesting that another reflect shield was actually in the available items there.
Also, to be clear, in real life, overeating magic food does not increase your health. It usually does the opposite, so don't do that unless your doctor tells you otherwise.
It's hard to justify eating purple food out of a barrel anyway, so I think most people here will be safe.
What if it's at Disney?
Okay, that I can't help you with.
Because, I mean, that's just every snack stand in Fantasyland right there.
I do not like where this armadillo is.
Yeah, no, that is real awkward placement on the armadillo.
Whoa, monkey!
Oh, bad TP.
Get out of the way. That is also a big spider on top, so the giant versions of enemies are hilarious with how the sprites can be.
Yeah, spider is already enough of a pain in the neck without being big.
Use the reflect shield right there. So yeah, reflect shield, it'll block an attack for whatever direction I'm facing, and the reflect shield will reflect the damage right back at the enemy, which is extremely good for mini bosses because I can just get them right out of the way. This is not a good setup though. That fire pig definitely putting in work. Okay, we're gonna get this throw charm that's over here.
Yeah, throw charm definitely an interesting one to pick up with Melody.
Gotta be careful not to blow the pixie up on me. Oh, there goes my reflect shield. That's okay.
Ooh, King Congo with Melody, that's a fun one.
We're gonna go for the Ozuma again with the bomb strat. Get him down to 1 health. And then just knock him out. All right, let's try this zone 5 again.
All right, once more with feeling.
Once more with gusto. So because we have torch walls, we can instantly see where the exit is. Don't have to do any guessing. We can just go straight to the biggest room on the map. And the chain lightning will make it pretty easy to
I was about to say,
take
the chain
everything off.
lightning with the loot is pretty goofy. Yeah, those little charging beholder looking dudes are a little dangerous if you're not paying attention to what they're doing.
Alright, exits on the bottom here. That is an awful setup.
Ah, you got this, just be patient.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us to Melody's story boss, which is also a Necrodancer fight. But this one's going to be timed, so I need to work fast, because the walls will start closing in. So we're going to move in the same weird ways we did before, so that we kind of lure Necrodancer over. And we can get him, because otherwise he tries to move away from us. And so far this fight has gone really well. The last part is the trickiest because I need to knock him into the lava. So we're going to actually do this. I can throw the loot behind him, kill everything that's behind him, and push him right into the lava instantly. So that's beautiful.
Amazing.
Alright, so we have one character left. And I am going to shut up because Arya is by far the hardest character. So Mina, please take the floor for a bit.
All right. I'm going to let you focus on this. And let's talk about what we're doing here again, y'all. So, again, Fireside Pride 2024, the event formerly known as Winter Pride. Rebranded, a little more cozy now. And this is our second to last night. We have one more full day of runs kicking off tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time in the morning. So definitely exclamation schedule. Take a look at what we got going on for the rest of the night, as well as what's going on tomorrow. And if there's anything that you don't want to miss, make sure you pencil it in. Like I've been talking about, like we have Virtual High Glide as the nightcap for tonight's events. We have Undertale Yellow coming up a little later on as well. That's a great fan game. If you've not seen that before, highly recommend it. And tomorrow, there's a lot of great stuff. We do have Pac-Land open right now, which is going to be a race with a goal open right now to play the extra hard mode. Showcase at least a few of the levels of Pac-Land Pro. Just so you can see how mean the game is. Also have, this is what I'm really looking forward to, the Diddy Kong Racing 100% randomizer run that Lord Fluffy has. That is going to be a very fun time. I'm looking forward to that one. ZELLOO's got another run tomorrow too. ZELLOO's running Doom 64, which I will also be hosting for by pure coincidence. So there's a lot of great stuff still to go throughout the rest of the weekend. Definitely exclamation schedule. See what's going on. As far as Arya goes, though, as you can see,
There goes the leprechaun.
there's no health. There's no leprechaun, clearly.
Yep.
And she works a little differently. You may have noticed we started at Zone 5. She is trying to get out of the Necrodancer's dungeon. And all we have is the dagger. So we're kind of starting at the hard part of the game and fighting our way out with the worst possible weapon.
Yeah,
But
this is a
with Zone
pretty
5
scary run.
Yes, in Zone 5, though, we do have the live wires to take advantage of, which, again, they're very handy. Glass armor, glass shovel, decent pickups. Oh. I mean, if you get hit, you're dead anyway, so you may as well.
Oh, there's a bomb soul, because I actually want to get the glass jaw. So we're actually going to get this bomb spell and use it to kill the glass shopkeeper.
Alright, kind of cooking with that one.
We're going to make this very safe.
And again, no real risk to doing this, because if you get hit, you're dead anyway. So we may as well just blast everything.
Yeah, unfortunately I already gave up the armor, but getting glass jaw helps because it's damage. I just have to not screw the fight up. Okay, no problem there. So we do give up the monocle, unfortunately.
But we do get the damage from the glass jaw, which is good.
There's one other characteristic of Arya. She's technically on a timer. So if you run out of time on a level, instead of dropping down to the next floor, you just die instantly. Coral Rift, we don't have any resources for this fight. So I'm going to just do the normal strat and just play it out normally.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do. Just try not to do anything too risky.
Let's do this. There we go. Speed the fight up a little bit. Alright, we're going black. We either get a damage up or we get armor. But heavy glass is excellent.
Alright, so that gives us 3 more hits before we die.
So the hard thing about Arya that we're going to deal with is that enemies from the other zones are going to start leaking into these zones, which can get really tricky.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder characters to finish the game with casually when you're trying to go through your story modes.
Okay, I've got a lot of safety, thankfully. The only thing I'd really want at this point is some kind of a shield spell for the last fight, but we're in pretty good shape here. I need to use my bomb spell if I get in trouble. Especially since I have bomb charm, which is excellent.
Yeah, you just have to remember to actually use it this time and not just sit on it like
Yep.
you did with the wall spell.
No, I don't need anything out of that.
Ooh, Frost Charm is good.
Frost Charm, yeah, that's great. That's extra hit of safety.
Yeah, on
It'll
the
block a hit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll block a hit and then cast a free spell. So it makes things a lot safer. Unfortunately, it triggers after heavy glass, so I have to get rid of the heavy glass before I can utilize it. But yeah, we're going to be playing this pretty safe. Grenades are really good.
Yeah, that's going to let us throw our bombs, so you can use your bombs as a ranged attack now.
Yeah, interesting in Synchrony, they're no longer a charm to transform your bomb. They're just an item. So they were very broken and amplified. But we can still do some really fun shenanigans like this. They also still combine with the bomb charm. So we get what we call nukes, because you just blow everything up.
And another flawless victory. Alright, what's going to be in our black chest?
I'm going to check for black for damage. No, I don't want to give up my armor, so we're going to stay on some damage.
Like, if we didn't have the glass armor, maybe the gi would be good, because it would give us even more damage output, but not in this case.
Like,
yeah.
Ideally we want 3 damage, but 2 is workable.
Yeah, speaking of, like, the invading enemies, like, I do not like the Swordmasters in here, because if they chase you onto an ice patch, it can get really awkward really quickly, depending on where it sends you.
Also, we can't take trapdoors with Arya normally. You can technically take it, but because it counts as dropping a beat, that counts against Arya, and you lose the potion, or just die if you don't have a potion. So we're not going to be doing any shenanigans to take trapdoors, which you can do with some funny things, but I don't have any equipment to make that work. I don't like this armadillo. I think the exit's in the bottom left.
Bottom left makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do this. I don't like this. I do not trust that black goblin.
Like, can we just take a moment here to appreciate, like, Family Jewels and Mega Ran on the same track? That's wild.
Alright, come here. Okay. Easy fortissimo fight with the bomb. Still want some kind of damage.
Absolutely fire
There we
shock.
go. So +1 from the boots, and then Jaw doubles that, so we're at 4 damage now. Like, Jaw doubles your total damage, so you always have to think about that. Spell in here? No. Getting to the end, thankfully.
Yeah, we've only got 2 more zones to go through.
And thankfully this zone's generally pretty easy.
Yeah, once you understand the new enemies, Zone 2 I think is harder to learn than Zone 3 casually, because you have enemies that are moving on the 3s instead of on the 4s. But once you have that figured out, it's a pretty tame zone.
There's a shield spell. That's what I want. I can ditch the bomb spell for this. So that'll provide a lot of safety. Death metal will be pretty easy with this build. And we're pretty good, so we're just gonna go.
Yeah, like don't mess with success. Yeah, back to Zone 1.
Yep. This layout's in a pretty bad spot. It's like all the way in the bottom corner. And I'm not gonna be able to take trapdoors like I would with the other characters. I also do not have Luck Charm, so I have to watch for bats here.
Alright, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. The game is really taunting me with all these trapdoors, though. It's like, take it, you know you want to. Alright, 5-3, or 1-3, however you want to think of it. Looks like it's on the very bottom. Thankfully, the Reflect Shield absorbed that hit for me. Alright, so we're going to hopefully get this quick kill on the loot fight coming up. We're going to do this funny dance, and if things work out, then we don't have to worry. So I'm just going to focus for like 10 seconds here.
Alright, good luck.
We're already out, but it's fine. That works. And time.
GG.
GG. Yeah, it was a little rough with Melody. Sorry I missed estimate, but it happens. It's roguelike. It playing in this kind of scenario is very difficult, and I hope y'all had fun, especially listening to all the soundtracks and my droning commentary. So big shout outs to Mina for helping double up for commentary with being a great host.
Yeah, I do what I can. And I mean, you only missed estimate by 12 seconds, so, you know, it's
Yeah,
not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's tolerable.
But yeah, shout outs. What do you got to say?
You should play this game if you haven't, because it's really fun and has a lot of cool things. If this looks intimidating with having to keep the beat, there is like a free beat option now by default. Like you don't have to just play as Bard, you can enable it for any character. So it's a very accessible game. The game got with its like V4.0 like update, the engine's much more stable now. Like this really is the best time to get into Necrodancer. And if this interests you and you like speedruns, we do have a Necrodancer racing league called Condor, which you should check out, participate in, or just watch the cool events that we do. But I think that's going to do it for me for now. I will be back tomorrow with Doom 64. So I'll see y'all then. Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, ZELLOOO, and I'll see you tomorrow for Doom 64 as well, because again, by pure coincidence, I am hosting for that run as well. But as of right now, it is just after 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is med check. It is dinner time for some folks. And for the rest of us, this is just a good opportunity to get up, stretch, grab a drink, do what you need to do, take care of yourselves. We're going to get set up for our next run, which is going to be Loom with Scala Kitty. And we'll be bringing that to y'all in just a bit. So don't go too far.